But speaking of Democrats who could be, we were talking about, things that were Trumpish about Neera. Let's talk about this guy.
Oh, God.
And the worst news is still tragic news. Number of deaths, 540. It's not as high as it was. It's still 540 people died yesterday. 540 people, 540 families. 504 in hospitals, 36 in nursing homes. Nursing homes are the single biggest fear in all of this. Vulnerable people in one place. It is the feeding frenzy for this virus. Despite everything we can do and the best effort, people who are working in those nursing homes who are doing just a fantastic job. The state is not going to come in and do their job for them. That would be a state-run facility. That's a prison. That's, a different situation where we run the facility. We don't run these facilities.
Right, but the state's saying that these nursing homes that, as you said, are private, have to take back these COVID patients. So that's a state mandate. How do you reconcile those two?
It's their patient. It's their patient. And their patient that they're getting paid to take care of now contracts the COVID virus. Okay, now you have to take care of that patient who you're getting paid to take care of with the COVID virus.
And what if they can't? Are they, then they
If you can't,
be non-compliant with?
well, yeah, if you can't, if you're saying I can't take care of my patients, then fine. Then tell us you can't take care of the patients, and we'll make other accommodations.
What's the penalty for that if they can't comply?
Well, if you can't run your business, you can't run your business. Penalty is your own. This, you're out of business.
But if people are dying because, again, the facility, it seems like a revolving.
If you look at New York State, we have a lower percentage of deaths in nursing homes than other states.
Whoa.
A third of all deaths.
You were going to say, Emma?
Sorry, no, I just said whoa. I thought I could talk over it. That's just I didn't mean to pause the clip, but that's just an unbelievable touting, as he knew he was
28 to 30. It's nationally, I think he says 30% of nursing home or deaths are from nursing homes. In New York State, it's 28%. That's his below the.
Oh, that's just dark. You can keep going.
Number of deaths in nursing homes. But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died. And I dealt with the loss of my father. The pain is so incredible and inexplicable. And why, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And I understand maybe the instinct to blame or to find some relief for the pain that you're feeling. But it is a tragedy, and it's a tragedy that continues today. I want to set the record straight on nursing homes for a number of reasons, primarily for the families of nursing home people. We created a void by not producing enough public information fast enough. People wanted information. We did not produce public information fast enough. That creates a void. What happens in a void, especially today in this environment, in this toxic political environment? Something fills the void. And conspiracy theories and politics and rumors fill the void. And you can't allow inaccurate information to go unanswered. Twitter bogus reports become a reality at one point. social media, 24-hour news stations. If you don't correct it, it gets repeated, and it gets repeated, and it gets repeated, and then people think it's true. It's a very difficult environment to operate in. We created the void by not producing enough public information quickly enough. I get that. But then it was exploited with misinformation, people playing politics, Republicans playing politics, personal attacks, personal agendas. And now this continues and people get confused.
Okay. Well, there's a lot there. But the fact that he was using the nursing home data specifically at that time, I don't know when that clip was, but clearly earlier on, in order to tout New York as doing a better job than other people, as he's obscuring the amount of COVID deaths, half of nursing home deaths almost were hidden, basically. That's
I
pretty
believe
dark.
that the timeline is because I made that clip.
Oh wow,
and
it's awesome.
I was trying to show how this has changed so we could talk about it. So I believe the first one was 10 months ago when it started, when everyone was giving him more than the benefit of the doubt. When he's talking tough with the nursing homes in that second clip, that's when he was signing the immunity for nursing homes and for hospitals. Around the same time, he's basically saying, all right, well, now you can't sue hospitals for your loved ones dying or nursing homes. They are kind of protected by the state. The third one is when the one with the data is when the story broke, where he was saying, oh, who cares, where they died, because people are saying, well, you obscured the nursing home deaths. You didn't report the hospitalization deaths, only the original nursing home deaths. And then the last two were his recent, now that he kind of has to come out and say we were wrong and come up with something that he was wrong about. It's obviously, well, we didn't tell people enough information because they're dealing with enough, and we kind of just we should have been more open with them about the information, because then they get too many ideas. Not, I'm sorry for obscuring the information because I didn't report it to the federal government because I didn't know what they were going to do, and I wanted to keep making sure that nursing homes donating millions of dollars to my campaigns and hospitals were were shielded.
Well, I mean, Sam was just pointing this out to me the other day, or a month ago or so, about how he was talking tough about the hospitals distributing vaccines, because around a month or 6 weeks ago, he said, I'm unilaterally deciding that these hospitals, a lot of them for profit, which donate to him, are going to be distributing the vaccine now. They don't have the infrastructure to do it. And these local hospital centers or these local facilities have been training for this for months. And they were like, what? Why are hospitals getting exclusive rights to distribute these vaccines? And then he's like, and if you can't do it, you're going to be in trouble, basically threatening them as well. Talking tough in public, like talking tough to nursing homes in public, but really running interference for them behind the scenes, and then bullying people that get in his way. I mean, he's smarter than Trump, but this is Trump, right? This is like lying about COVID and then bullying people behind the scenes in the same way that we saw in those, him pretty much admit to lying in those Woodward tapes, and in countless instances. He's just blue MAGA, and the Democrats still defending him. You're just like a part of the blue cult as opposed to the red one. And you're obsessed with personalities. That's it.
Well, his top aide, the one that was caught on tape by, I think, Newsmax or whatever, saying to a bunch of assemblymen and state senators that they had obscured the data and that they panicked when the federal government was coming after them for nursing home data. Her brother, sister, and father, I believe, are lawyers for the lobbyist group that originally donated all the money to Cuomo's campaign in 2018, which then lobbied him to pass the immunity laws, which stop hospital executives and nursing homes from getting heavy penalties for deaths in their facilities. So it's this kind of unbridled corruption too that kind of makes him exactly like Trump. It's like
He's very unlike Trump in that Trump couldn't go on CNN or even Fox News and be interviewed by a member of the Trump family.
Yeah.
Well, but that would be so heartwarming then, right? I mean, that's how that was treated. How cute is it? I tweeted joking, just these Cuomo sexuals are basically mentally deranged. I find everything about him to be so off-putting. And like, again, it's just, Bill de Blasio has a million problems, but I was heartened to see him stand up for Assemblyman Ron Kim, who had basically blown the whistle on a lot of these tactics by Cuomo in his attempt to cover up this nursing home data, and just said, yeah, this is par for the course in New York. It's an open secret here that he is like the worst guy, Cuomo. And I've heard it from people who've worked with him personally. I won't like name names, but just he's like basically a terrible human being and treats people with like blatant disrespect, in kind of the way that we saw, people talk about how Trump was horrible when they'd work with him. Like Cuomo was an entitled and son of a mayor who, not mayor, excuse me, of a governor who, basically bred him to be this prodigal son, and he hasn't lived up to that, and so he behaves with entitlement at every turn. And yeah, I mean, this is a massive scandal, and it should he should resign. I know that the New York State government is going to vote on whether to strip him of his emergency powers, but that's not enough. I mean, the guy's being investigated by the FBI right now.
Yeah, right. And it is ridiculous that if you think back to last spring and summer, when this Cuomo cult was at its height, really, I mean, even based on, before people knew everything was going on with the nursing homes and all that, just based on what was public information at the time, I mean, by any normal metric, he had massively bungled the COVID crisis in New York. And it seemed like what, people were zeroing in on him for, how he kind of became this weird liberal hero, is that he gave press conferences and he seemed to know what he was talking about more than Trump did at his, and that was about where the bar was.
And to me, like, I will be fully honest, at the start of the pandemic, when we knew nothing, I took some comfort in that. And I'll be real, I got swept up in some of that stuff and being like, all right, well, I can tune into this, and there's a public official who's kind of saying what's up, but kind of is doing a lot of work here, because
You're
as we
never
know,
homosexual.
I was never. Please, don't even mention me in the same name as that word. I'm whatever. I'm prejudiced against them, to be honest. I think they should have less rights than us. I hope the Supreme Court rules to strip them of their rights. But I digress.
A Cuomo-phobe, like that old Seinfeld episode with the anti-dentites, who hate them.
Yes, I am a proud Cuomo-phobe, and I deserve to. It's my religious right to be able to not bake them cakes and not accept them in public life. But yeah, I mean, it was like that was partly, because Trump was so bad at providing COVID information. There was one person, this was when New York was hit so badly, and, I'm here in New York, freaked out. So yeah, but that's not leadership. That's one part of it. And yeah, okay, cool. He's better at than Trump at that. But is that really the bar for a solidly blue state that could have actual progressive leadership, that could have single-payer healthcare, that could have all of these institutions that Cuomo has actively tried to disembowel? That's the word I was going for.
The cool thing is that he spent his political career kind of treating New York like an old machine, like a political machine, like a Mayor Daley in Chicago or whatever, something like that. And of course, that's going to slip away, as New York is a fairly progressive state in a lot of ways, like at least the voters are. But Cuomo's kind of essentially made it so that anybody that challenges him, he has the city and that's going to vote for him no matter what, and he doesn't ever have a real challenge. Like the Republicans here are weird. Like even for Republicans, the people that end up trying to run against someone like Cuomo are just fucking weird, and Cuomo knows that. And then the progressive challenges don't really go anywhere, because he manages to slip something here or there so that one of these parties, or one of these even like the Working Families Party and stuff that have gone against him, he kind of, either threatens them with something or provides them with something they need at the last minute and kind of takes away the air and the sails of whatever progressive challenge she has.
Well, totally. I mean, and you see this in big states like California, and I also put Massachusetts up there to a lesser extent that are blue, but that have a lot of money and a lot of people. And they have large political machines that operate in a corrupt way that's independent of traditional right-left politics that we see on a national scale. We saw this with the Alex Morse versus Richie Neal situation of a state party, a state Democratic Party operating in a corrupt manner. And we see it with Gavin Newsom, with the way they killed single-payer healthcare there, with a lot of the way that large states that are, would be medium-sized countries on an international scale, how they behave when they don't really have a Republican threat. That breeds corruption in many ways. And then, of course, Cuomo with this and the IDC, which was a built-in infrastructure for him to not pass anything progressive. So that's something that we all just have to be aware of, because it's not when the one good blue team wins, we're all set. It's all about what rules are put in place in order to incentivize the right things. And states like New York, they have a big issue in that area.
It was nice to see the IDC completely get destroyed in 2018.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And let me know if I'm going on and on, but just the Cynthia Nixon campaign was great. It obviously wasn't an electoral success, but God, the Amy McGrath run in Kentucky is a case study as to why this is just like the really wrong way to go, because you see what Cynthia Nixon did. She didn't win, but her run laid the foundation for all of these progressive candidates and helped eliminate the IDC. And then take Stacey Abrams, for example, in Georgia. She didn't win, but her run laid the infrastructure, a massive amount of like voter registration ability and get out the vote ability and all of these other things. And plus she continued her work. For there to be electoral success, and now look, it paid dividends. And then in Kentucky, she loses by 10 points. It's Chuck Schumer's handpicked candidate. They just throw money at the issue. Whereas Charles Booker, who actually, was a progressive and got Kentucky State Party support too, he could have stayed there in the state, really built up a coalition, and then maybe made a run at things in the future and built up progressive power in Kentucky. So even if you lose, is my point, running the right kind of campaign and right kind of candidate can really pay dividends for progress down the road.
Before Cynthia Nixon ran against him, it was Zephyr Teachout, who was an incredibly solid ally for Bernie, and even kind of was willing to go farther than Bernie with that Joe Biden corruption letter. But in 2016, as Trump won, she ran for the Congress, like she ran for my Congress or seat, like where I live, and got destroyed by this guy John Faso, who was literally like a Trump clone, because they had like a bunch of those Republican Trump clones that.
I remember that race well. Are you in Orange County, somewhere near there?
Near there. Yeah, I'm in New Paltz, which is Ulster County, but yeah, it's like.
Yeah, my mom grew up in Middletown, so I'm
wow.
I know the area a little bit, and I followed that race because I love Zephyr Teachout. I read her book in college and stuff. She got screwed by that Trump wave because she was like not one of the Clinton type Democrats that lost.
Yeah.
She just was like tied with them, unfortunately.
She also was an enemy of Cuomo because she had run against him. So a lot of the state resources that maybe could have been delivered to somebody didn't necessarily, I don't think, reach her.